People First podcast is a show presented by people with learning disabilities. For our friends and community, we talk about issues that are important to us and interview interesting people to find out new information. This is our way to make a difference, have our voices heard.
Hello everyone and welcome to the People First podcast. On this week's episode, we are talking to Helen from Dance United Yorkshire, a local charity that works to give people new opportunities through dancing. Welcome to the show, Helen.
Thank you very much.
Can you introduce yourself and your job role at Dance United Yorkshire?
So my name's Helen Linsell and I'm the Artistic Director of Dance United Yorkshire.
Where is the charity currently based?
So we are based at the Bradford Arts Centre in Bradford City Centre, but we deliver work across the city, but also across the region and also all over the UK.
Is that the one Enterprise?
No, it used to be Calasangham.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's called the Bradford Arts Centre. So it's just below Bradford Cathedral.
I am stationed there with BCB.
That's right. Yeah, they've moved into the building as well. Yeah.
You'd be good on their 119 show.
I think I might have been on their show before, maybe once or twice in the past, but I can always go again.
How did Dance United Yorkshire start?
Well, it's actually quite a long, complicated story, but I will make it quite brief. So Dance United used to be a London-based charity, and they started because they wanted to deliver high-quality contemporary dance with people that would never usually dance or were living in really challenging situations. So they started by working with street children in Africa, actually, and then they moved on to working with women in prison. And from there, they started developing projects with young people who were getting in trouble with the police or maybe getting kicked out of school or just struggling with the mainstream. And they just so happened to do a project at Wetherby Youth Offending Institute, which is up in Yorkshire. And from there, they set up a project in Bradford, which was for young offenders. And that's why we kind of ended up in Bradford, really. But Dance United Yorkshire became its own organisation in 2011 because we wanted to do a lot more that was focused on the Yorkshire region rather than be managed by a company that was based in London. So that's why we became Dance United Yorkshire. And now Dance United doesn't exist anymore. We are the legacy organisation.
That's very interesting.
What kind of people does DUI work with?
So most of the people that we work with are people who have been marginalised or excluded or have experienced difficulties and challenges in their lives. So that might include people living in really deprived areas. It might include young people who are struggling at school. It might include young people with poor mental health, young people who have been in care. It might include adult women who have been victims of domestic abuse, or adult men who have been who have struggled with drug and alcohol addiction, people that have been in prison or probation. And we also work with elders as well. So we work with, probably our youngest is about 5 and our eldest is about 80. So we work with all ages, but most of the time they are non-dancers and people that would not usually have access to a high quality dance provision.
To have different people?
Lots of different people.
Does Dance United show off different kinds of dancing?
So, Dance United works predominantly with contemporary dance. So we focus on that dance style because most people, for a start, don't know what it is, and secondly, they've never done it before. So we don't tend to do lots of different styles. We're not like a dance school that does like ballet and jazz and tap and etc. We just focus on contemporary dance, and we use contemporary dance because you can get anybody to look gorgeous and beautiful doing contemporary dance. You can make it really physical and athletic, or you can make it really gestural and quite simple and beautiful. And you can also tell stories, and you can get a 5-year-old doing it, and you can get an 85-year-old doing it, and you can get anyone else in the middle doing it with whatever bodies they've got, whatever backgrounds they're from. So we feel it's a really accessible dance style that we can use no matter who's in the room. So that's why we use that particular style.
How long have you worked at Dance United Yorkshire? And what have been some of your favourite memories?
Oh gosh. Well, I started working for Dance United, which was the London charity, in 2007, which is a very long time ago now. And I worked for them as a dance artist until 2011 when I became the artistic director of Dance United Yorkshire. So, all in all, I've been involved in this kind of work for 19 years, which is a very, very long time. So, as you can imagine, I have lots and lots and lots of memories that I could bore you with for about a week. But I think for me, there are particular projects that I've delivered. So I've done a couple of projects where I've been abroad. So I did a project in Holland where we worked with young people from across The Hague in Holland, and we put on a big show at the Rotterdam International Arts Festival. So that's something that really sticks in my head because there were lots of language barriers and people that were refugees and people that had come from all over the world. So it was a really kind of special group of people coming together. I have worked with some exciting dance companies like Matthew Bourne's New Adventures and Akram Khan Company. So to meet really prestigious choreographers have been really exciting moments for me, and to create work with them. But I think also for me, particular young people that I've helped throughout the years and I've seen them grow. So young people that came to us that were just in lots of trouble and didn't think their life was going to become anything. And then a few years later, they've gone out and they've gone to college, they've got a job, they've got a family. So moments like that are really good for me because I realise the impact of the dance project that isn't just about dance, it's about helping people change their lives completely.
Does Dance United run any live events?
Yes, we do. Everything that we do is centered around performance. So all of our groups are always working towards creating a new performance piece. So we participate in lots of kind of festivals and platforms, but we also hold our own events where we share our work. So there might be 5 or 6 pieces, maybe by some children, young people, maybe our adult women, our elders, our men. So yeah, we put on our own events and we also take part in other people's events. But a lot of the work we do are live performances.
How do opportunities in dance help to support people?
So dancing can be a really positive influence on your physical and mental health. So obviously it's a physical activity, so it makes you feel better because you're actually just moving your body. And it makes you feel joyous and happy. But also just the act of dancing can really help you escape what's going on in your mind. So it can be really good for your mental health. It makes you feel better about yourself. It also gives you confidence and it helps you grow your self-esteem because you may go to a dance class and think, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this, I'm not very good. And then within a few weeks, you've mastered something or you're performing on stage in front of people and it makes you feel like you're a really strong, confident person who can achieve things and you can feel proud. But also being part of a dance company can help you feel a sense of belonging. It can help you develop new friendships. It can help you develop communication skills or teamwork skills. And those kinds of skills you can take anywhere in life with you. and the experience of being on a stage with a group of people that you trust and that you've worked with. There's a sense of unity. And there's a sense of working not just for yourself, but with other people and for other people. So it does a lot of good for you as an individual, but also as a group of people.
Do you offer any accessibility supports for people with physical and learning disabilities?
I would say that most of our projects and most of our groups have children, young people, and adults who are neurodiverse. So we have all sorts of different learning needs, learning abilities, behavioural needs, emotional needs, and we work with everybody in a very individual way. So we just get to know the individual and we get to know what they might need. And we often have, there's always kind of two artists, so there's always an extra person to support. And when we do our intensive projects, we often have 5 or 6 members of staff that can help support different needs within the space. And when it comes to physical disabilities, we just get to know each person. We've just worked on a project where somebody used a crutch to walk. And had a condition which affected their joints and hypermobility, and they bruised really easily. And we just worked with them, and there were certain things that they didn't do, and there were certain things that they created their own versions, and there were certain things that we adapted. But it's just about communicating with individuals and saying, this is what we do, what do you need, how can we support you, and then we just make it happen. So we would never kind of turn anybody away for any reason. We would just get to know them and see how they wanted to engage, really.
If our listeners want to find out more information about Dance United Yorkshire or get involved, how could they find out more?
Well, they can go to our website, which is www.duy.org.uk. And that tells you all about our history and our background, and also tells you about classes and gives you some contact information on there. And you can also look for Dance United Yorkshire on particularly Instagram and Facebook, and follow our social media and see what we've got going on. So those 3 ways I would suggest are the best ways. And then you can always contact myself through the website, or give me a call if you want to know anything more.
Have you got any advice for anyone who's thinking of starting dancing, or who's just recently started doing dance?
I think when you start anything, I think it's about allowing yourself time to work on things and progress, try different things. Sometimes different dance schools or different dance styles aren't for everybody, so it's worth giving everything a go. And it's also important to know that the first time you do a move or a step, you're not necessarily going to get it right that day. You might have to come back the next week or the next week after, and you have to kind of persevere. And I often say to particularly my women's company, I say to them, if I taught you things that were just easy, then there'd be no point in me being in the room. So I have to challenge you. So it's important to know that when you start dancing, things will be difficult and things may be challenging, but to not give up.
How long have you been doing DUI?
So altogether, about 19 years.
Wow.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you again to Helen for joining us to tell us more about Dance United Yorkshire. We wish you all the best of luck for the rest of 2026. Is there anything else you would like to add before we end the show?
Just thank you very much for inviting me. It's been really lovely chatting to you all this morning.
If you enjoyed, follow us on social media to learn more about what we do and our upcoming interviews. You can find us on the YouTube, Facebook, X and Instagram by searching for People First Podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you all soon next time.